tomorrow at 8 a.m., you are going to get up and come to class, right? And you are going to miss my class tomorrow, 7th hour. Yes, 6th hour. Yes? Yeah. So first hour tomorrow morning, well, you're in another class. I am going to be teaching the same thing that I'm going to be teaching 7th hour tomorrow afternoon. And I'm going to record it. You guys do not have government tomorrow. Except you do. Because you're going to have to watch that recording before the next time you come to class. Does that make sense? So I go live every day. And I post video every day. Now, tomorrow, with the other 7th half of your, the green people, I'm going to do the syllabus again. So I will not post the video that you need to watch. I'm going to post it. You'll see it on Canvas, but you don't have to watch it because you were here. Okay? But starting Thursday, I'll see you again on Thursday, so you don't have to watch a video. But Friday, I'm going to record first hour, and I'm going to post it. You're going to have to watch it before you come to class next Tuesday. Does that make sense? You'll be in class next Tuesday. Next Wednesday. Well, wait a second. I'm off here. My days. Yeah, we're not the same. You're not going to be here Friday. Right? You're not going to be in my class. Wait, what?
We won't be here Friday. We'll be here.
So you're not here on Friday. I'm going to record a lecture. You need to watch that before you come back on Tuesday. Yeah, we got it. Okay, good. So that's how my class is going to work. Okay, I'm teaching something new every day. So in order for you to stay up in this class, what's your homework? You have to watch the video. Okay? That's how my class works. Okay? Now I'll get into some more details. All right? This is U.S. government. My name's Mr. Ebright. You can call me Mr. Ebright. Now, if Oscar calls me Mr. Ebright, he plays baseball, I'm a baseball coach. That's uncomfortable. I want him to call me coach. You can call me coach too if you want, Coach Ebright. Or if you want to shorten it to Mr. E, that's fine. Or Coach E, that's fine. All right. Anything else? Like dude or hey man? No. Okay. Just throw like Mr. in front of it. All right. Now, outside of earshot of me, you guys probably call me whatever you want. I won't hear. That may happen. Okay. All right. So I have my phone number here. That's my home phone. If you ever need to get in touch with me, you can call. But the best way to get in touch with me, I like to communicate on that inbox on Canvas. You guys know what I'm talking about, the inbox? I like to send a message there. If you need to ask me a question, send me a message on that. Okay? And I'll get it in my email. I'll get it on my Canvas. Like you guys, I have Canvas on my phone. I check it all the time. I get notifications, that sort of thing. So I'll see it if you're sick, stay home. You're not going to miss anything in this class because it's all being recorded. Does that make sense? Now, most of the time, the recordings you're going to be seeing are first out, but it's the same class. You follow me? Okay. So you'll see different people. Now, this morning when I recorded first hour, it was the first one since Christmas, and I forgot to unmute it and turn the camera on. So it was blank for 45 minutes. So that's why I'm recording now, in case somebody is sick and remote. All right. All right. So you will get a textbook, not today, but when I give you guys these textbooks, I want you to take them home and leave them there until finals. Okay. We will use this. You will use this at home, but not here. I'm not going to give you an assignment in class. I only get to be with you guys twice a week. Okay. I'm not going to say, here, Phil, do this homework in class. Okay, that's crazy to me. Okay, we're going to spend this time engaging with one another. Okay, this is a government class. All right, so we're going to learn and talk about all kinds of subjects and subject matter that is relevant to what's going on in the world around us right now. Okay, and so some discussion there is good. You know, ideas, opinions, and so forth. All right. So there's my email if you need it. That's probably the best way for parents to communicate with me is by email. Okay. And there's your book. Okay. So I have a quote here, Ben Franklin, and I assume everybody's heard of Ben Franklin. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's one of the most famous Americans in American history. Okay. And very important to our family. Ben Franklin was at the Constitutional Convention in 1787 in Philadelphia. They were at Independence Hall. How many of you guys ever seen the movie National Treasure with Nicolas Cage? I'm really sad that more of you have not seen it. Straight up entertainment, fun movie, but does some stuff on, you know, the founding, the Declaration of Independence and stuff like that. It's a fun movie. Okay? In essence, they try and steal the Declaration because it's got a secret map, treasure map on the back of the Declaration of Independence. Okay? And it's cool. It's a neat movie. And then there's National Treasure 2. And is there a third one? The second one's a little crazy. They're both kind of crazy, but the first one just kind of, it's fun. But anyhow, they're in Independence Hall. And Ben Franklin, they're writing a new constitution because our first constitution didn't work. I don't know if you remember that from last year. It's called the Articles of Confederation. It didn't work. So they wrote a new constitution in 1787. And Ben Franklin walks out of the Independence Hall and a passerby sees him. And guys, this is one of the most recognizable Americans we have. If you saw George Washington walking down the street in 1787, you'd be able to say, that's George Washington. We didn't have photographs yet. There was no cameras, okay? Only rendering of human beings was by, you know, artists, okay? So, but Ben Franklin he was very distinct. He's bald on the top, party in the back. They had long hair. And this guy, the life expectancy in 1770 was about 42 years old. 42. He lived to almost 80. Okay, so Ben Franklin was an inventor, he was an author, he was a printer, okay, he was a philosopher, he helped write like Richard's Almanac, he was an ambassador, he's a great American. He comes out of this and the lady says, Dr. Franklin, so what kind of government do we have? And he said, we have a republic, if you can keep it. Now, if you turn on the news today, or tomorrow, or yesterday, you will hear American politicians describing our nation as a democracy. You hear it all the time. We live in a democracy, right? We live in a democracy? Carter, what do you think? No. Oscar, what do you think? What do we live in? Oh, a republic. Now, you could call it a democratic republic or a representative democracy, which is a republic. But in a true democracy, everyone would vote on every issue. Did any of you guys have the privilege of voting in the last election? Okay. You used your democratic powers to vote. But when you voted for Donald Trump or Joe Biden, you were not voting for Trump or Biden. You were voting for 6 Republican or Democratic electors that the 2 political parties from the state of Kansas appointed to be electors. That's who you were voting for. Those people traveled to Washington, D.C. about 10 days ago and actually cast a ballot for president and vice president. You didn't. You elected representatives to vote for you in the Electoral College. And when you voted for Congress and for the Senate, either Roger Marshall or I'm already forgetting her name. Oh, yeah. Or, yeah, how could you forget all the commercials, right? Yeah, it's everywhere. They spent a lot of money to lose. Okay. And then for Ron Estes, who represents 4th District of Kansas, okay, and his opponent, you are voting in representatives democratically to represent you in Washington, D.C., not only represent you, but represent the state of Kansas. We have 50 states. Every state has power. Most of the laws that we live by in Kansas are Kansas laws. They're not national laws. There are some national laws. Let me give you 2 examples, okay? The drinking age, 21. Every state has the drinking age of 21. Is it a federal law? No. Each state agreed to change the drinking age to 51. Now, the tobacco, 21, which they just changed last year, yes? That's a national law. Marijuana is a federally, national government, federally banned substance. Marijuana is. Yet, what, something like 30 states now, at a minimum, have medical marijuana, and some have decriminalized marijuana. But it's a federal law. It's a national law. How can those states violate the national law like that? How is that possible? Because the national government, ladies and gentlemen, is not enforcing the law. That's called prosecutorial discretion. President Trump could right now call up the ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the FBI, the U.S. Marshals, the Secret Service, and shut down every pot dispensary in this country in every state and do it legally. Because all of those states are in violation of federal law. Have they chosen to do that? They have chosen not to do that. That's called prosecutorial discretion. They have chosen not to. Okay? Now, the relationship here between the national government and the state governments, between national laws and state laws, between the U.S. Constitution and state constitutions, that relationship between those is called federalism. The power between the national government and the states. Okay? That's something we're going to study. Okay? It's pretty interesting stuff. So let me kind of get into this a little bit, and I'll give you some examples of some of the stuff we're going to talk about and kind of explain how this class will be structured. Okay? Hopefully you'll find it interesting. All right? As we move through this. Okay, so course description, student will have a working knowledge of governmental systems in the United States and other nations with an emphasis on our Constitution, the necessity for the rule of law, civic values of the American constitutional democracy, the rights, privileges, and moral responsibilities become active participants in the democratic process and in one's faith. Now, I didn't write that. That's what they told me to write. Okay. If I were to describe this class, I would describe it differently. All right, course objectives. Students will understand the rule of law as it applies to God, family, church, school, local, state, and national governments. Okay? Now let's take a look at the family. The family unit is the smallest type of government. Okay, so I want you to think about your family right now. I don't know a lot of your families, so you think about that. Some of you have a mom and a dad. Some of you may only have one. But in your family, who makes the decisions? If you have a mom and a dad, is mom and dad sharing that power together? Or is there one that really holds the power? Who really wears the pants in your house? If mom and dad share that power equally, you might call it an oligarchy, which is ruled by a few or by a small group. In my case, I have a wife, and I think to myself, anytime I'm going to spend maybe more than $200 on something, I think to myself, maybe I better check with the chief executive first. Okay. This may be a rule that applies in your house. If mama's not happy, nobody's happy. So make mama happy. That's what I tell my kids. All right. You can piss me off, just don't piss off your mother. All right? Because then she's pissed at me for some reason. Okay. Now, if the kids have an equal say with the parents in the decision process, then you may have more of a democratic household. But that usually doesn't turn out too well. We refer to that as the inmates running the asylum. Okay. I'm sure some of your parents ask for input from you, like, what do you want to do for dinner? Stuff like that. But on major decisions, parents are usually going to work together on that. Okay. What about school? This school has a government of sorts. All institutions do. Who really runs this school? Is it Father Ed? Bishop? He's got bigger fish to fry. He can't pay attention to what's going on day-to-day affairs of the school. Janet Eaton, the superintendent, she's got a bunch of schools. She can't focus on Bishop Carroll. Tish, Vanessa, Slade, Alan. In the case of a school, do the teachers have a say? Do we have an equal say with administration? Do they listen to us? You guys ever heard of the A-team? There's an A-team here at school. I'm not on it. In fact, there were no teachers on the A-team until we created the community system a few years ago. And now Mrs. Johnson is on the A-team, but she's the only faculty representative. Okay, prior to that, there were no faculty on the A-team. Now, I'm on the Principals Council, which is all the department heads, the head counselor, and the administration. Okay? They ask for our input. Now, prior to this age of COVID, I would say to my classes, teachers had very little input. They ask us our opinion, but generally don't really pay attention. But in the age of COVID, I've really seen the administration, the government, listening to the teachers. And I feel like we've had more input than ever before. Okay? So like this hybrid schedule we're on. We came up with this. This was a group of teachers and administrators that came up with this schedule. Now, you may like it, you may dislike it. While I was on this reentry committee, one of the things that I thought was important, as you guys know, like Mays and Goddard, they go 2 full days a week, and then they're off for 5 days, right? USD 259 voted yesterday for the first time. High school students at West, and Northwest, and Southeast, and South, North, they're going to be going in person, hybrid, 2 days a week, full days. Okay? And then they're off for 5. Now, when we thought about this, first thing that I thought of, and I know some of our families need you to work, that you have to help with the family, you have to help pay expenses for yourself and so forth. But my fear is that we're going to have a considerable part of our student body getting full-time jobs. If they're not in school, if they're only in school 2 days a week. And then those remote days, our students are going to be at work. Am I right? I thought it would be good for our students to be in class 4 days a week. So that's what we went with. So you can blame me partially for that, because that was one of the things I pulled for. Sorry. But did you learn last semester? Did you learn more last semester than you did remotely last spring? I know my students did. Okay. So I think it's working. Okay. And, you know, it's not perfect. I think the way that I do this class is better than what most teachers are doing. I mean, you have some teachers that just teach one subject. I have 3 different preps, okay? If I taught one subject 6 hours a day. And I taught that same class 12 times. You have some teachers that are doing that, teaching the same thing back-to-back days. I'd kill myself. I couldn't do that. There's no way I could teach the same thing 12. I don't like teaching it 3 times a day. I get tired of hearing myself say the same thing over and over again. In fact, the lecture that I'm giving you right now is far different than what I gave the first hour. Because I don't like repeating myself. Okay. All right. Let's see here. School, local government. Yeah, USD 259, school board. You have to have a law degree to be elected to the school board? You have to have an education degree? No, I think really you have to be 18 years old. That's it, okay? Now, they make decisions for the local school board. The state also makes decisions for the schools, and then the national government also makes decisions for the schools. So you really, in education, you have 3 different layers of government dealing with education. Now, do we have to listen to the state here at Bishop Carroll? No. We do. Do we have to abide by what the federal government wants us to do? No. But we do. This collegiate? Not as much. Okay. You know, this school has to be accredited. It doesn't have to be accredited. But in order for it to be accredited, so when you get a high school diploma and it says you went to an accredited high school, okay, by this thing called North Central Committee that accredits high schools throughout the Midwest. Okay, so we have to do certain things that the state wants us to do so that we get accredited, so that your diploma is by an accredited institution. Collegiate doesn't do that. They don't have to. Why? Because they're better than the public schools, aren't they? Now, if you're teaching if you're taking a chemistry class and you really want to learn about chemistry, would you rather have somebody that had a graduate degree in chemistry that actually worked in the real life world and applied chemistry in the real world at a job, and then came and taught you the processes of chemistry in a classroom? Or would you rather have somebody that went to high school, went to college, got a teaching degree to teach chemistry, and came back and taught chemistry to you? Which would you rather? Somebody that's applied it, right? That's what collegiate does. They don't get, a lot of their teachers aren't even licensed. They have doctorates. So somebody teaching government at collegiate may be a lawyer that doesn't have a teaching license. Any guys thinking about becoming teachers? Okay. It's the easiest degree you can get. I'm not kidding. Really, it's just jumping through hoops. And when you get to education school and college, they can't teach you how to teach. You know how you learn how to teach? By getting up here and doing it. Yeah. My first year, I was clueless. You know what I mean? Now, I didn't start teaching until I was 29. So I actually had a life outside of teaching. Now, was I a member of Congress so that I could teach this to you? No. Did I work on some congressional and gubernatorial campaigns before I became a teacher? Yes. Did I pay attention to politics? Yes. Okay. Do I enjoy history? Yes. Okay. So, guys, this is something I do for you. That I will pay attention to what's going on. I have a ton of knowledge in here. This is my 22nd year of teaching government. Okay. And I'm going to try and share some of that knowledge with you, all right, as we go through this. Okay. So, students understand shared ideas, diversity of American society and political culture. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Now, guys, they saved this for you when you're 18 years old, because now you guys are eligible to vote as you turn 18. Save this for your senior year, so that when you leave here, hopefully you have a better idea of how your government works, the history behind your government, okay? and some of the major issues confronting our country. You'll understand how the U.S. Constitution allocates and restricts power and responsibility of government, the three branches of government, how they function, identify, examine rights, privileges, responsibilities, become an active civic and faith participant. You've all heard of the Bill of Rights. Do you know the Bill of Rights? Do you understand the Bill of Rights? Let's talk about that. Students will understand various systems of government, how nations and international organizations interact. Okay. Let me just kind of get through this. All students will be responsible for reading assigned chapters in the text. I will supplement your reading with notes, discussions, handouts, and other materials. Okay. You can read this if you want. I will give you some assignments from this book that you take home and leave at home. Yes? Okay. But all the information for the tests comes from the notes. Okay? Now, here's the good thing about my class, ladies and gentlemen. All of my notes will be put up on Canvas. You will have my notes before we start going over stuff. Okay? I will post chapter 1 PowerPoint notes in Canvas on a module. Okay? Now, what can you do with that? If you want to take notes, as I put a PowerPoint slide up here, and define what government is, and define what laws are, that's what we'll start with. Basic stuff. Okay? If you want to take notes, you will have time to write them down while I'm discussing. Okay? If you want to print those notes out, PowerPoints, bring them to class and write on top of them, you can do that. Like add little things in, okay, on top of it. Or you can just sit there and listen. And then when you get ready to take the test, you can go back and study the notes, which are on Canvas. Yes? So you guys figure out what's best for you. Guys, this is not an easy A. How many of you guys had Coach Loveline last year? Okay. It's not like that. How many of you guys had Mr. Skaggs? It's not like that. Okay? I'm not going to give you a note card. I'm not going to tell you everything that's on the test. Everything that's on the test is in the notes. So what do you need to do? Study the notes and pay attention. Now, before your first test, the day before the test, I'm going to give you this. It's going to be a review sheet. Okay? And in class, I'm going to go over this review sheet with you. Help you fill it out. You bring it the day of the test because you're going to take this home and study it. You bring it the day of the test, give it back to me. I put a 5 out of 5 on it. 5 points. You don't turn it in, it's 0 out of 5. Okay? This is a total points class. So the first test would be worth, say, 36 points. This is worth 5. This is 5 easy points. Do it. You know what I'm saying? You're stupid not to do this because, one, a lot of what's on the test is on here. Not everything that's on the test is on here. Where's everything on the test? Say, in the notes. If you want to make an A in this class, you'll know everything in the notes. If you want to make a C in the class, maybe a B minus, you'll know everything that's on this. I have 23 students, so we got 11 in here, 12 with the greens. Okay? In a class that size, my government class will generally have about 6 A's. You have to do well on the test. Now, do you have to make A's on all the tests to get an A in the class? No. I'll give you enough points where you can bring your grade up a little bit from there. Okay? It's a total point system. Generally, I will give you 1 assignment per chapter. All of those assignments, ladies and gentlemen, will be optional. You don't have to do them. If you don't turn in an assignment, now you have to turn this one in. This is required. But if I give you vocab for chapter 1 and you don't turn it in, it goes in the book as excused 0 out of 0. Doesn't hurt your grade. Doesn't help your grade. Well, let's say you make an 18 out of 36 on the first test, which is a 50%. If you do the homework, worth 25 points, what's that going to do to your grade? It's going to bring it up. Okay? So if you want, you can do the homework. It's optional. If you can make an A on all of my tests, you don't have to do any homework. Now you got to do this. You get 0 out of 5. This just covers my butt. This keeps people from failing. Because it's the day before the test. It's got a lot of what's on the test. You fill it out. You're going to remember some of it. Okay? I didn't have any failures last semester. I didn't have any D's last semester. Like I said, I only had 6 A's. What do you want? What do you want out of this class? Are you happy with a C? When I was a senior in high school, if I got a C in government, my parents were like, "Good job, Charlie." I'm not kidding. I was not a good high school student. I was not a good junior college student. About my 3rd year in junior college, you're supposed to laugh again, I started to figure it out. Okay. Now I graduated from high school when I was 17, and I didn't turn 18 until October while I was in college. I was young, and education wasn't a big thing in my family. No, I'm the first one to get a college degree in my family. And so what really wasn't that, the only reason I went to college is because I wanted to play baseball. And that's the only way I could keep playing baseball is if I went to college. So I went to college. I didn't even know what a college credit hour was. I had no clue what I was doing, but I figured it out. You guys are, I think all of you, it's safe to say, are ahead of where I was. Okay. What do you want out of this class? What you want out of it is what you're going to put into it. Okay. So if you really want to work for an A, bust your butt, pay attention, take notes, or pay attention notes, study the notes, and give it back to me on the test. Okay. So we'll have a test at the end of every chapter. Okay. Comprehensive final. Tests will do matching, multiple choice, fill in the blank, true and false, and some short answer. And on 2 of the tests, guys, you're going to write essays. Okay? Now, some of you know how to write a good essay. Some of you don't. I imagine a lot of you are going to give college a try. I know when I went to college, once I figured out how to write a good 5-paragraph essay, college got a lot easier. And I've seen that with my son right now, who's a sophomore in college. We're taking Comp 1 and Comp 2, having to write all these papers. He's gotten so much better at it. You know what I mean? So the more practice you have at that, if I can help you a little bit along that way, help prepare you for college, that's what I'm going to do. Okay? I kind of feel as a teacher, if I did everything multiple choice, I'm not doing my job. Okay? I need to have you write something. All right, now you're not going to write any big research papers or anything like that, because I'm not grading them. But I will grade your essays on a couple of tests. Okay? But you'll know what the topic is. You'll know what to study. You'll know everything you need to know. Okay? So, depending on what you plan on doing with notes, bring a pen every day, notebook, or at least a folder, something to stick papers in for this class. Okay? Notes, main source, okay? Have a notebook just for this class. Homework assignments due, that should be midnight. When I give you an assignment, guys, I won't make you do like the next day. I usually give you a few days to do it, like a week or more. Okay? You're busy. Some of you have jobs. Some of you guys are in sports. You got clubs, activities, band, play, practice, whatever. Okay? You're busy. I'm busy. Okay? I know you don't like to do homework. I don't like to grade it. Okay, so by making these assignments optional, sometimes I cut my workload, by a third or half sometimes, depending. Now, if you feel good about your test taking ability, you make A's on the test, you don't have to do the homework. It's up to you. Okay? You are young adults, and I'm not here to babysit. I want to treat you like adults. Okay? Hybrid schedule, lectures recorded each day. Look, if you don't watch the videos, you don't watch my lectures, you come in the next day, you're not, a lot of times you're not going to know what I'm talking about. You get lost, and then again, what you put into this is what you're going to get out of it, okay? And I use Office 365 Teams meetings, and so if you ever want to come in live, say you're remote, you get quarantined, you go to your school email, and you're getting an invite every day that I have a lecture, okay? Most of the work is going to be turned in on Canvas, okay? So you won't be turning that in. If you miss a test, we'll try and make that up within 3 days. Some of the best time to make up tests, guys, is during lunch. I have somebody in my classroom during third hour, which is one of my plan periods. So I usually eat third hour and then come up here fourth hour during lunch and work. So if you we're here in the afternoon, you missed the test, you can come in during lunch, take the test, and then go to the fourth hour. That sort of thing, okay? That's a good time to do it, or Wednesdays, if we have to use Wednesdays, okay? Suspended at work will be worth 70%. Okay, it's all basic stuff. Okay. You're expected as a Bishop Carroll student to make a full and honest effort in all your classes, take advantage of the opportunities that have been provided. Be prepared to learn. I know, guys, once the weather starts getting warm this spring, you guys are going to get that senioritis thing going on. I know you've heard of it. Some of you may already have it. Okay, fight it. Look, I'm going to show up every day, and I'm going to try and be a good teacher. Most days I feel like being a good teacher. I feel like, hey, let's go to work. Let's get through this, make it interesting, make it relevant to you, give you some type of connection to reality with it, not just some old fuddy-duddy stuff. That's what I try and do every day. And on those days when I don't feel like being that teacher, I'm not going to just give you a book assignment. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fake it. Okay? I'm going to pretend like I want to be here doing this. Okay? Today I want to be here doing this. I want to get to know you. I want to get you interested in government. I want to get you interested in this class. Okay? I like doing this. Okay? Guys, attitude is everything. If you have a bad attitude, you're going to have a bad time. If you have a good attitude, life is going to go much better. And I know sometimes you just have those days and you just have a crappy attitude. And I have them too. But the best way to get around that is to fake it. Fake your attitude. Convince yourself, I need to be interested in this. I need to work hard today. I need to be engaged. Okay? Classroom participation, guys, will be looked favorably upon. At the end of the semester, if you have a 91.2, and you've been a student while I'm talking, while I'm lecturing, while I'm going over that, maybe ask a question every now and then. Maybe when I was talking was giving me good eye contact and shaking their head. You were engaged. When you're engaged and showing me something, it makes it so much easier to teach. Okay? And then I'm thinking 91.2. So I could slide over to your last test, put in 2 points, and that bumps to a 91.5. Merry Christmas. And I'm a semester teacher class, and there were a few students, whether it be an 82.3 or 91.3, I got a Merry Christmas gift. couple of points. But if you're sleeping and you're zoning out and you're just staring at me, like daydreaming, and I know you're not listening to me, and you got a 91.3, more likely an 82.3. Dude, first hour last semester, you got green and gold. Total of 12 students between the two classes. It was horrible. They just sat there and looked at me. And I told them, you know, I reminded them. So don't be that group, okay? I want you to speak up. I want you to raise your hand. I want you to say something. I want you to nod your head, okay? Work with me. I'm going to work hard. You guys try and work hard with me. Okay, I have two rules in this class. I generally have no discipline problems. I've been here 22 years, guys. 22 years. 2 times in 22 years, I've had to get the administration involved with a problem in my classroom. I love my job. Okay, but I have 2 rules. 1, at the end of the hour, if I finish early, don't come up here and congregate by the door. My space, your space. And 2, when I'm talking, you're not. And with the masks, I haven't had any issues with people like, except for Chloe Shuckman. But I don't have any real issues with discipline. You guys will be fine. I'm not a big demerit guy. The biggest thing I get demerits for is language. People have a right to come to school and not hear certain language. Yes? That's it. I will see you guys on Thursday. We're going to get started on some fun stuff. Okay? See you later.